Hello friends and welcome to episode 146 of the Noclip podcast. Better late than never. Here we are, folks. Sorry about last week. Put out a tweet, but for the thousands of you who listen to this podcast every week, you're probably just like, huh? What happened to those guys? They die? What happened? Was it a tragic boating accident? What happened? But we're here. Don't worry about what we were doing last week. You'll find out in due time. Right now, what's more important is the video games that are out there, both old and new. And this week you're going to get two podcasts from us, not just your regularly scheduled podcast, the Noclip 146. You're also going to get a little bonus one that we were planning on putting out last week, which is our book club, I guess, our game club episode all about Fallout New Vegas, which we've been all playing, including Jesse Garasha, who produces this podcast. So Jesse will be joining us. We'll all be reminiscing about... Well, not really reminiscing about our very recent playing of Fallout New Vegas. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about modern games like Counter-Strike. Frank Howley, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing pretty good. It's October, so I feel happy. Everyone's talking about horror films. There's lots of wrestling shows, and especially in Southern California, there's so many horror nights. I'm making plans with friends, so I'm busy and happy.
It's wild how like California, America for sure, but also California is like very eager to jump on the Halloween train. I can't say. I have to take blame for this too. I've had my decorations up for a week already, and it's only just turned October. Jeremy, you live out in the boonies in Northern California. Do you have neighbors? Do kids trick or treat out near you? It seems like maybe a place where they get hit by a car.
I live in the middle of nowhere, so there are no Halloween decorations I can see from here. But the other day I drove to Santa Rosa, and I feel like as you go from like where I live, there's a lot of sort of, I live in a tiny shack, but there's a lot of big houses around here. And I feel like people with big houses, they don't want to put up like a giant skeleton in their front yard. It's tacky. But then as you drive out to where normal people exist,
right,
you get the giants. I saw like 4 giant Home Depot skeletons.
Oh, those big, the like legit like 25-foot ones there.
Like the big boys.
Wow.
Yeah. So also, I have to ask, because you said this in the intro, how long do you have to wait to reminisce about something? I've never thought about it before, but like you can't like go to see a movie with your friends, then on the drive home be like, remember that time we saw that movie?
It might be like age specific. Like if you like 5 years could work if you were like in your mid-20s, because then you're like thinking about when you're a teenager, and that's kind of like another lifetime ago, right?
Yeah, that's true. I feel like you could do like a month. I feel like if something happened a month
really?
ago,
a month?
I feel like, I don't know, reminisce is a pretty heavy word, I guess.
If it was a particularly like sort of salient moment in your life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you met the Queen, like 3 weeks ago, and you're reminiscing about maybe that applies.
That's true. I feel like 1 week is I feel like if it was a number of days ago below 7, then you're really pushing it.
You're really pushing it. You need to be like some sort of creature that has like a lifespan of 7 days or something to reminisce. You know,
dude, I just learned. It's funny you said that. I just learned about mayflies. Did you know female mayflies have the shortest lifespan of any organism on the planet?
Can I guess what it is?
Yeah, please.
Is it like a day?
It is less than that.
What?
I believe it is. It's like a number of hours or minutes. It's less than 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
They live exactly long enough to reproduce, and then they die.
But like that, they're like Wallace and Gromit putting the train tracks in front of themselves. Like, what the fuck? Does that mean like their female offspring have then, or is it both? I don't know how flies work.
Yeah, I don't know enough about flies and their reproductive cycles to give you any real information on this. I think the males live longer. I know that. So I feel like, I don't know, they must have to wait around for ages for the women to exist, and then they all hang out, and then they all die.
They just spray their shit on their maggot babies everywhere. I don't know.
Wow, you're such a romantic, Danny.
Yeah, it's easy to be romantic about flies.
Yeah. But anyway, female mayflies. If you're ever feeling like life's too short, you could be a female mayfly.
That's true. You can go. There's a clinic you can go to that'll turn you into.
You get reincarnated. You could turn into a Buddhist and get reincarnated.
As a female mayfly. That'd be sucked to do that with the like sort of with the knowledge of a human. Although you'd just be like, hey, get bum roll. Guess I'm going again. Guess I'm re-upping.
That's true. If you knew you were reincarnating, if you knew that was a reincarnation, you'd be like fuck it, just re-roll me. You know what I mean?
I have this incredible urge to lay eggs. I don't know what. It's like Why? I feel like I need to do it like immediately. Like
Yeah,
if I
exactly.
dilly dally at all, I'm not. I can't. I need to. Great. Now. Great. Now that I've done that job, time to live my life.
Now I can find a hobby. I can get into crochet, and then you're dead.
See the world. What do you think fly? Because like we work a lot with lenses. You know, what do you think flies see? Because they surely do not perceive the world. Like I bet they can't see anything that's far. I bet it's just like super blurry. Everything's small. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's like a
macro.
Yeah, it's probably like an 8mm macro lens,
Yeah.
super wide. I feel like flies, their whole life is a skate video. You know what I mean? Like super wide fisheye lens,
But
and,
with an
5
insane
minutes
amount
long.
of depth of field that you never got in skate video. Or you
Yeah.
never because there's never any blur on
Yeah.
skate videos because there was
Yeah, okay,
outdoors.
wait. I think we figured this out. Flies perception is like a skate video because it is incredibly wide angle and it does not last very long.
You're right, and it has like 4 stops of ND on it.
Yeah.
To see that I'm trying to. There's been a couple of projects I've had to do when Jeremy's not around, so I've had to learn how to use the camera. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm trying my
Dude, you're
goddamn
killing
best.
it. You did the best shot in the Burger King thing. I mean, you also had the advantage of having Burger King props, which looked great on camera. But the shots look great.
Delicious burgers. Was this the one with the? Thank you very much. Was this the one with the drink?
Yeah.
So,
Of course.
you know what's wild? We got access to YouTube's A/B testing for thumbnails, which it turns out is ABC testing. You can throw up 3 different thumbnails, and it'll basically send them out into the world and figure out which one is the one people are clicking on more, and then it'll keep that one. And I did like a super designed one that I used on Twitter, which was like the story of Burger King games, and I had cheese melting on a Burger King logo and all this shit. And then I did one which was just the 3 boxes. And then I just did that shot of the Burger King drink with the drip, and that was it. And then had like the Noclip thumb in the bottom, and that was the one that got the most people clicked. So it's like, which I kind of get, you know, a bit, because it's like,
It's a refreshing oasis in a sea of red arrows and bright red text.
That's true. All I need next is to have Mr. Beast popping out from behind yeah, exactly that face, Frank, doing his O face, and then we're in the money. Yeah, the Burger King documentary is live. You can go check that out. Incredible work by the whole team. I want to give a special shout out to Frank Howley, who filmed all that awesome Sneak King collector madness stuff on his own, which was a nice, definitely like the heart and soul of the piece. So yeah, it was cool. People seem to really, really like it. Watch time on it's insanely high. I just need the click-through rate to be a bit higher. Maybe I'll do a 4th thumbnail and we'll see if that jimmies up more folks. But we're here to talk about our work. We're here to talk about... Actually, before Counter-Strike, I do want to talk a little bit more about Halloween. I love Halloween. It's a great time. I couldn't get the skeleton, but we went to a Spirit Halloween, and me and my daughter, and we went around. She's 5, so she just got freaked out by everything. It was amazing. And we were trying to get stuff that was like scary but not too scary. And then she settled on something that I believe that the product title was Empty Soul Girl. Oh, Frank's nodding his head. He's like, oh, I know that one. I got 6 of those in my fucking closet. Which is type it in Google. It's basically like a creepy girl on a swing. And she's just sitting there. And you can get like I haven't installed it yet, but I bought the mechanism that'll make it swing on its own, which is pretty freaky. And I have her just hanging from the gutter. Like, she's just swinging from the gutter. And it's super freaky. The house, we put fake cobwebs all over our hedges. We got this big spider, which my daughter gave a name to. What was it again? I forget what it was. But every day she leaves for school, she says, "See you later, Empty Soul Girl." And she like refers to her as her sister. She asks her if she wants to come out every time. And then we kind of pretend and go like, "No, I'm staying here swinging." And then yesterday we went to get cereal, and my kid was like, "What cereal should we get, Empty Soul Girl?" And I was like, "Souls." So she's fast become a sort of integral part of our family unit. Empty Soul Girl. Have you seen?
She looks nice. I just looked her up. I feel like the box picture of her looks really scary, but then they have a demo of her set up, and she just looks like a nice young lady with black eyes.
Yeah, she's got like that's her exactly. Yeah, the one that looks Yeah, and the sort of like gray greeny top. Yeah, Spirit Halloween. Empty Soul Girl on a swing. Oh, she looks a bit ragged on this one. Yeah, she's got very, very long hair. It's very beautiful. Water resistant.
You know how people get like inflatable dummies so they can drive in the carpool lane? I feel like you could put Empty Soul Girl in your passenger seat and drive around California highways.
Probably.
And get away with it.
I'm not sure if she needs to be. I'm not sure if she sits up. It's one of those props where like the head is there and the bench is there, but there's like nothing in between. You know what I mean? There's like no torso or anything. It's just because she's Empty Soul Girl. She would have had a soul there, but she's not.
She doesn't
she's
have a
empty.
body. What does she have? Like it's a wire, like a skeleton made of wire.
It's just I don't know. I think it's the head and maybe the shoulders, and then maybe it like tapers in or something, or it disappears because there's no feet, right? So like the last thing you see is just the dress going down. So maybe it's all starched. I forget.
I can't Google. There's no way I can get this information of what Empty Soul Girl looks like without her Dobby dress on, without venturing into some scary territory.
Yeah, you're gonna get on a list for that one for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna have to wonder for the rest of my life.
I put orange lights all over our house as well, or over the front garden. And then one of the neighborhood kids cycled around and got like fucking straight up like fucking like around her neck lights because she didn't see them coming. So you know. Fucking watch out. She might be the next Empty Soul Girl if you keep doing things like that. Now I'm on a list. Yeah, Frank, do you like to do the Halloween thing? Do you ever have kids knocking on your door? I mean...
No, we live in like honestly a pretty small neighborhood for... so people never come here. As a kid, I would go to my friends who lived in a rich neighborhood and we'd go trick-or-treating there. But yeah, now the last several years, especially with quarantine, I just end up doing like a Halloween stream. But yeah, I'll hit up like the theme parks. Like within like a 60-mile radius, there's Universal Studios, which has the Halloween Horror Nights, which there's a Last of Us maze, so I'm excited to see that. There is Knott's Scary Farm, which is always really cool.
That's Knott's Berry Farm, is it?
Yeah,
for Halloween?
And,
very good.
And then the greatest, or rather the cheapest, is Shaqtoberfest is back.
Oh my God, it's
Shaquille O'Neal is back. This is the second year. His minions are taking over. I haven't figured out which day I'm going yet, but Shaqtoberfest, I can't wait. That's like the $30 one. You go. It's like the county fair. It's so like crappy, but everything's basketball themed. They have the pumpkin shack, like SHAQ. It's so cheesy. So it's kind of there's like 3 different scales and tiers.
Shack. Do they have?
Yeah,
They do a sponsorship.
So,
I love how Shaqtoberfest is like 4 steps removed from Halloween. It's like Oktoberfest, Shocktoberfest, Shaqtoberfest. It's that's terrific. Yeah, you regaled us with your stories of going to Shaqtoberfest last year. Last year you said that some people were disappointed, but it sort of landed right in the sort of jank territory that you're comfortable with.
Oh yeah, I love it. Like it's if this was like a Steam game, I would give it like a thumbs up and be like, this is so bad, it's great. You know, that's my review of Shaqtoberfest. Like it's like $30 again. Yeah. Universal Studios is like $130. So I'm like, oh God,
really?
it's yeah. But the production value's there. They also have a ton of Megan dolls or Megan cosplayers
dancing and stuff.
You know, where Shaqtoberfest, it's like they don't mess with any licensed costumes because they're afraid of getting sued.
Shaq.
So it's Shaq's the only property, or maybe that's a Shaq thing. Like I'm the only celebrity here.
Exactly.
So it's like generic clown, generic chainsaw man, generic knife wielder. Cool. It's like, but that's what makes it so funny. It's like an asset flip in real life. I don't know. It's awesome.
That's like,
I wonder, how did Shaqtoberfest start? Like, do you think Shaq reached out to some sort of organizer and he was like, listen, I really love Halloween. And they're like, say no more, my friend.
Oh, man. I know it's held in Long Beach at the Queen Mary. And I think every year they do their own horror thing. And maybe sales were dipping or whatever. And I think they wanted to get a brand name. And Shaq every week associates himself with a new brand. So it was like,
he'll endorse anything.
And they do have a DJ booth there so that they can play Diesel mixes and stuff. Like, I don't know. It's you know, it's not bad, so I'm looking forward. I'm a Shaqtoberfest defender.
That's wild. Awesome. So the Queen Mary, is that a boat?
Yeah, I don't know the whole story there. It's supposed to be haunted. So every October they do tours, but I feel like the market died on that. So then they extended it, and now Shaqtoberfest and Queen Mary is like buy one get two.
I love
or something. I don't know.
I love that where they have to like. Where people turn a boat into an attraction, because there's a couple here in San Francisco as well. And then there's they do Oktoberfest. I think it was Oktoberfest. I went with Dan Reichert once there, where you just get drunk on like a warship. It's just like it's docked there, and you just go on, and then They're like, don't go here, don't go here, don't go here. Here's all your tickets. Go get drunk. And you just like, you're drunk on a aircraft carrier, whatever this thing is called. And it's like, I don't know. It's incredibly American, the whole thing. Shaqtoberfest does sound like fun. I'm glad you're going to go again. And please regale us again with your review. Will it be soon, or will you go closer to Halloween when it gets really Shaqtoberish?
I think closer to Halloween. Like there's Halloween Horror Nights, and then there's 2 wrestling shows. So it's like literally this morning I was planning like all of October, and I'm getting very excited. So it's gonna be a lot. So whenever Shaqtoberfest happens, I'll let everyone know.
I don't know why I like it too, the whole Halloween thing. I think it's just like injecting fun into like what is maybe the most boring thing in the world, which is like suburbia. It's like it's a time where people can just be fun for the sake of being fun, and you kind of get a good read on your neighbors. You know what I mean? Like who's down to clown, who is like fun for kids, and who like sucks.
It's also worth noting, you said injecting fun into suburbia. In Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, the suburbia level, one of the objectives is smash the 5 pumpkins.
You're right.
So I think it does take place in October, and then there is the super crazy haunted house that has the Axeman and the ghosts and the bats. So I think that's the ultimate Halloween level in a video game.
I gotta play that. Yeah, it might be. I don't know what other Halloween level. I feel like some horror games are set during Halloween as well. I know, like obviously Friday the 13th probably is, or something like that, or Halloween. Is there a Halloween video game? Did they ever make it?
I mean, with Michael Myers, I wonder.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like Resident Evil starts in September, and I think like Resident Evil 2 and Nemesis is like September 30th. So it's like it starts in October kind of, or Raccoon City blows up October 1st.
Joseph!
Yeah.
He was just
Did Halloween
trick-or-treating.
trigger the events of Resident Evil? Was that? Do you think it was like Halloween related?
They were like,
I think
they didn't want to trick-or-treaters. That's why they put the dogs outside. Right?
Yeah. It was decorations that got out of hand. Spencer was like, "All right, let's spook up the mansion," and then
that's
like,
why they made the T-virus.
Some people went way too serious with it, and
all those fucking LARPers that dressed up as the lizard men. What are they called again? The guys that like rip your head off. Remember
the hunters in Resident Evil?
What a fucking man! Games used to do that stuff to you, where they'd be like Metal Gear Solid 2 is obviously like the big example of the bait and switch, but Resident Evil 1, which was just like, yo, here's this zombie video game. And halfway through, they're like, lizard men, motherfucker. And these ones can like op you. They can like one-shot you in the head. Done. You're out of here. Kill this. And they're fast. They're so much faster than the zombies. You're not prepared. We're still going to make you fight them in these tiny corridors. What a good time. What a great video game.
The best.
Anyway, I've already talked about ops, so it's probably time to talk about the second Counter-Strike game, Counter-Strike 2, which came out this past Wednesday from the folks at Valve Software, who allegedly make video games. They've made a few in the past 30 years, and they've decided to make another one, Counter-Strike 2. They made a good video game. So here's the first thing I want to say. I did not know this replaced CSGO on Steam, which seems very weird that you would just replace, especially because there are like 7.6 million reviews for Counter-Strike 2 now, because they're all just the CSGO reviews. So I don't know the reason for this. I guess maybe because there was a lot of active players of I guess this is their new Counter-Strike platform. CSGO is being, sunsetted. I mean, it's really sunsetted now. It's been supernovaed. But for whatever reason, that seems weird, right? It's like a weird thing.
I've heard a bunch of people from like modding communities be upset about that as well, because it just wiped out countless numbers of custom maps and stuff like that. Someone was saying that it's not a big deal because CSGO is still on the beta branch or something.
Yeah, it's a
on
demo.
Steam
I think you can download or something. Yeah,
I kind of understand why they would do that. Why they would replace it rather, because I can see releasing CS2 in a world where CSGO is an equally viable option, and a bunch of people just never make the switch It's what they're comfortable with. Why would they? Like they might test out CS2 and then hop back.
Oh, do you think that would be something that might happen in the Counter-Strike community?
No, it's definitely not an atavistic, stubborn community at all.
Yeah, could you imagine that they had like a version of Counter-Strike running and then they brought out a new version on a new engine, and for some reason some of the players decided to stay with the old version and not move to the new source version? That would be weird.
Precedent. Yeah, there is precedent for this. Yeah, so like I understand it from that perspective, but still it kind of sucks because it's like even if you have CS:GO accessible, I feel like if it's buried under a beta branch and stuff, it kind of it kills the community and whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel the reason I'm bringing it up first thing is I wanted to mention right off the bat that like for whatever reason I never connected with CS:GO. I don't know what it was. I was a huge 1.6 fan. I played Counter-Strike all the way through to 1.6. My favorite of the lot was Source. I did jump to Source. I still played 1.6 with my 1.6 friends, but I mostly played Source on my own. The 2004, Half-Life 2 Source engine version of Counter-Strike. And then CSGO came out like an obscene amount of time ago. Like, was it a decade ago or more? It's like upsettingly long ago that it came out. 2012. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, I mean, and the Burger King documentary really upset people because I said 16 years ago in 2006, which I think is quite upsetting. So, CSGO is like the longest one, and I checked on my Steam and I have like 20 hours in it, which is like not, for a Counter-Strike player, is not very much at all. I mean, I don't have my 1.6 hours because they weren't logging it back then when it was out, and this was all pre-Steam anyway until Source came out, but yeah, I for whatever reason I didn't. So I need to mention that right off the bat because there's some stuff that's in here that I don't know if this is stuff that was in Go, because I really just don't have a lasting impression of what really Go was. I'm absolutely loving this thing. I've only been back from a week-long trip for like 3 days, and I've played maybe 6 or 7 hours of Counter-Strike 2. I absolutely love it. Before I dive into all my sort of stuff, I want to get a vibe check on Frank, though, because I know you played a little bit, and I intentionally did not talk to you about this until today. How much have you played, and what are you thinking of it?
So I think in total I probably played like 1 to 2 hours, just getting my feet wet, seeing what it is. And yeah, I had spent maybe I think 50 hours in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Like I really got into it. Source is my all-time favorite. I just checked my Steam profile, and yeah, Counter-Strike 2 has replaced Go, and now my combined playtime is 63 hours of Counter-Strike 2, even though like 60 hours of that is Global Offensive. So I booted up. I was excited that I don't know if Go was always free. I think at one point it was like $15.
Yeah, it went free, but it wasn't always.
So CS2 is now free, which is great because I was able to like recruit a ton of friends, be like, hey, let's play Counter-Strike 2, let's have a good time. This change happened with Global Offensive. You can't upload JPEGs, any shock image you want, and you can't spray goatsy on the walls anymore. So you can't do that anymore. So the sprays aren't there.
Dead game.
I don't even know if there's like custom community maps right now, because I tried searching custom servers and nothing came up. So I don't know if that is active. So I got to play CS Office, DE Dust, Italy, which are I think my 3 favorite levels. Everything seemed kind of the same. I'm not a hardcore competitive player, so I don't know if any dimensions or things were changed. Within 30 minutes, I heard the N-word, the F-slur. So it's like, it's still the same. You can't quickly mute people and stuff. What I like though is, I think in the rate, like when you boot up Counter-Strike, you can get 5 friends into a lobby or a party. Join a casual like 12-on-12 match, and then any other friends can join you on your friends list.
Yeah, so I think I was able. You can have an open party, even if you go in solo. You can have an open party, and your friends will jump in. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I think I was able to have like 10 friends in our lobby, and like we were just talking on the mic, pretending it was Fortnite, and the rest of the like
that's great.
It was. I mean, I've been playing Counter-Strike since I was like 12, being an annoying kid, and that's still there today. So it's so fun playing Counter-Strike and complaining you can't build stuff, complaining it's not Fortnite. Half the lobby of people yelling at us, going back to Fortnite. So honestly, like that's what Counter-Strike is to me. It's always been like this juvenile playground. I love it. I don't know if this is different. I noticed with the hostages, instead of like having them follow you pick them up. You pick them up, which is pretty funny.
Especially when you fucking headshot someone who's carrying a hostage. They just go, and then I think it ragdolls the hostage, does it?
Oh, I haven't seen it in firsthand.
I didn't see the guy hit the ground, but a guy ran a corner. I was shooting it. I was playing in Italy, and we went into the courtyard with the market, and a guy turned the corner with the fucking hostage on his back, and I just turned one shot with the what's the silenced CT gun? M16, I think it is, or M4. No, M16.
Yeah.
I just like one shot. I will say this might be the best headshot noise I've ever heard in a video game. The headshot noise on this thing is just like delicious. It's just like, it just feels so good. But I hit this guy, and this guy is like, he's like in an orange jumpsuit. He looks like he's being renditioned, and it kind of looks like the CTs are maybe the bad guys when they're bringing them out of there, because you're like, why is this hostage in an orange jumpsuit? Shouldn't, like, in the, you know, in 1.6, I forget when they swapped it, but I remember in 1.6, and I think in Source they were just people. They were just like scientists or dudes. They didn't look like they were, you know, fucking Guantanamo Bay fucking people. But anyway, yeah, I shot this guy, and he just like fell to his death, and the guy on his shoulder just went and flopped over on the ground, which I was a big fan of. Anyway, sorry.
I'm trying to think there's other details I noticed. One thing too that's fun playing with your friends if you're on like Discord is like in the casual lobbies, if you die, you can see where everyone is, so you could still like call out to your teammates like, he's over there, he's over there. I haven't done competitive yet, but there's a reason. Like 8-9 years ago, there was 1 month I played competitive CSGO, and I was doing call outs like going long A, whatever. That meant that's kind of been wiped from my memory, but I get so angry that it's like I don't want that. So keeping it casual, maybe if I get a solid group of 5 or people want to carry me, but like I got to keep it casual. What I think I want to do is do private lap matches, because like what's also fun is if you don't fill a lobby, it fills with bots, and when you die, you can just, and this was in Go, when you die, you can just hit E to play the bot.
Oh,
and it's like,
cool,
that's,
really?
Yeah, so I think I want to do more private matches, but like it feels good. I will say it's a little heavy on my PC. I don't have like a Supermax PC. I have a pretty good one, but like I was trying to stream it at the same time, and on Streamlabs OBS, the frame rate dropped, so I had to like bump CSGO to like medium settings to get it to run smoothly. So that's one thing. It is free, but I don't know if every computer in the world can handle it, because this is with Source 2, but I don't know how heavy it is. It is Source 2,
yeah. So this is the second Source 2 game. The only other Source 2 game is Dota 2. And it definitely looks good. Like, it looks good. I will say it looks good in a way that I find interesting, in that like it's not like Cyberpunk, where it's not like going down the graphics pipeline of everything is going to look incredibly vivid all the time and look at you, or I mean try and grab your attention. It just has really good lighting, and it just feels, I don't know, there's something about the look of it that feels very pleasant. Like, it's not overly realistic, it's not overly cartoony. It feels like a modern it feels like old Counter-Strike. So all the maps have been redone. I don't know so there's been a couple of changes that weren't in Source. Like, there's a cut through in CS Italy, which I do not remember, which might have been in Counter-Strike Go, where halfway up that, you know, that Death March tunnel in CS Italy that brings you up to the hostage house. First of all, they moved where the hostages are as well. I think one of the hostages is now in the middle house, which wasn't there before. And then they have a cut through which brings you to the middle lane in Italy. Was that in Go? Because that was not in 1.6 or Source.
Can't remember.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Unless I've totally lost my mind and I'm misremembering it. Office, I think, is the exact same as I remember, down to the Dell Inspiron or Dell Tower looking PCs that have graphics cards you can shoot out. Better shot now. There's proper shadows on the projector in the back room, which I appreciated. Nice. That was cool. I think the glass still broke better in CS Source, even though it was kind of fake. Remember in the CS Source, you could shoot the glass, it would make bullet holes, but the glass would generally stay there, and you had to. Whereas like a real glass pane, you shoot a bullet, and the whole thing's going to shatter. So it's kind of more realistic, but I think it looks a little less fun as a result. But so I've been playing a lot of deathmatch, because I was playing regular games, which are, you know, you can get your 5-on-5. A lot of the casual ones are like 10-on-10 or 12-on-12. But I was like, I just need to get better at using the guns again. I need to learn all this stuff. So I'm playing a lot of deathmatch, and it is like the most intense shit. I remember what this was like before when I played deathmatch in 1.6 in Source, and it's just like so fucking frenetic and insane. One of the things I love, the guns feel great. I love the feel of them. The reticle is absolutely brilliant. So first of all, I don't know if this is true, but the accuracy on single shotting feels way more tight to the reticle. Because the thing about Counter-Strike was that always that the reticle would get bigger, and then so the spray area would get bigger in it. Now what the reticle does is it like jumps around, like it tells you where your last shot was almost, which is really interesting because you can see the spray pattern lean in a certain direction, like bias in a certain direction, which then will make you like sort of change your angle slightly if you're like. You know, I try not to pray and spray all that much in Counter-Strike, but you can kind of like accommodate it a little bit. But for whatever reason, I felt that my one-shot headshots are way more consistently like right there. Like I feel like the first shot is going straight no matter what. And I could be wrong, but that's kind of what it feels like. And I don't know if that's always been the case in CS. So I've been really having it. Like I've been immediately better at this game than I think I have been on a multiplayer game in quite a while. Like I've been racking up a lot of kills. I've struggled to get into the top 3 a few times on these deathmatch games, but I'm up there. I'm in the fight with a lot of them. Relearning some of the maps. So what's in here? We know it's Office, Italy. It's Dust 2, right? I don't think Dust is in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to rotate maps. There's like, I feel like when you do a thing, there's like 4 game modes. And map wise some of these are split up, but so they have Italy and Office, which are the hosted match. Obviously they have them in a playlist. They have the Dust playlist, which I think is Dust 2. I always forget which one's which, but it's the one with the sniper lane straight up the middle. Yeah,
that's Dust 2.
Yeah, so Dust 2. Then they have, I think it's Militia, Aztec, and then 2 other ones that I'm not quite sure what they are. They're in another playlist. Yeah, give it a quick look there, Frank. And then some of them are in like a bit of a mixed lobby, and there's voting between each one, so you can bounce around.
So the like 9 maps that are available right now is Ancient, Anubis, Dust 2, Inferno, Mirage, Nuke.
Oh, Mirage it is, yeah.
Overpass, Office, and Vertigo.
No Scout Snipes quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy, sorry, were you going to say something?
I was just looking at the same list as Frank, and then below there's another list of non-competitive maps, and that includes Baggage Canals, Italy, Lake, Short Dust, which I don't know what that is, and Shoots.
I don't think I've seen those anywhere, actually. Maybe they're in the...
Wait, I have to look up what Short Dust is. Is that...
Short Dust. Is that just... Short Dust. How could you shorten dust? I guess you could...
I don't know.
Short Dust is what I find in my pockets. Like,
it's funny you say that because when you Google Short Dust, it's all Counter-Strike images except the first one, which is like a man's butt in very tight shorts.
Nice. Okay, yeah. He's dusting them off.
It looks like looks like Dust 1, but I don't think it is. I don't know.
Oh god, if people start calling Dust 1 Short Dust, that would really upset me.
That would instantly age me like 40 years.
Yeah, that's like Zoomer stuff. I don't want that.
Totally. That's like some
you guys ever
Zoomer
play Short Dust? Back in my day, we called it Dust.
Like what would they call Office instead of Office? Like
where Dad works. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dad's work. Yeah,
Dad's work.
Yeah, take your son to work day.
Shoot your son at work day.
Jesus Christ. The reticle thing you mentioned is really interesting because that if you get into any FPS for a sufficient amount of time, I feel like you start hitting that skill ceiling where you get as good as you can get without taking it very seriously. And that's where people either kind of plateau and burn out, or they download aim labs and start getting obsessive about recoil patterns. So like when I played Rust for 300-400 hours,
Short
whatever.
Rust.
When I played Short Rust 2, the way you do this if you don't have like aim labs or something is you just go up to a wall in any game that has like bullet markers and you just shoot at the wall and you look at the shape of the recoil pattern. And games that have really sharp recoil like Rust, you essentially have to learn the direction and general tendency of it because the recoil kicks so fast that you instantly have to compensate with the mouse if you want to shoot straight. And in a game like Rust where the stakes are so high, you might walk like 25 minutes to the scrapper and then get killed instantly if you haven't been practicing your shooting.
Oh, and that's wild.
It incentivizes you to actually learn those mechanics. So it's cool to see them kind of codify whatever into the game, like the reticle reflecting that, because it's kind of like teaching people a thing that people often go outside of games to learn.
Yeah, it's neat. And I think what it's doing is it's showing you the last bullet, because it's hard to tell in the moment, right? Because you're just like, and it's doing that, but it gives you the idea of it. which is quite cool. One other thing I liked about playing the deathmatch stuff as well was that you can just like, deathmatch is just like you buy whatever weapon you want at the start. So you pick C, T, or T, probably based on which weapon you want to use, and then you pick a weapon. But you can also just hit F3 to have auto buy on, and it's almost like kind of like a gun game or something where you load in every time and it's giving you a different weapon. And also I think you get a bonus weapon after you've done a couple of kills. It would pop up on my screen sometimes, like press G to select your bonus weapon. I don't know if it always gives you a bonus weapon or it gives you a bonus weapon after a couple of minutes or after a couple of kills. I can't tell, but I think it was like sometimes I got an AWP, sometimes I got dual Berettas. Like it was kind of whatever. But that was fun because it sort of made me like force me to use the Steyr or force me to use, whatever some Uzi or MP that I don't tend to pick. Got to talk about the smoke as well. This game's got some fucking good looking smoke. This got some smoke technology. You can shoot bullets through the smoke, which is very satisfying. It makes like little pockets of air that then get filled back in. It's also got good fire. The incendiary grenades in this are pretty meaty. Flashbangs feel about the same. They look good. Sound the same. A lot of the audio is the same. Classic stuff, which is pretty cool. You can, weirdly enough, so there is like, this is free to play, right? So it has a lot of the like, you unlock crates and then you got to buy keys, and if you do your weeklies, you get, pick some stuff you want to get. But also imported a bunch of stuff based on my Steam. So I had like, 10-year veteran coin, 5-year veteran coin. One of the things I had was I can replace the soundtrack for this game with the Hades soundtrack, which is very bizarre. So the menu straight up has like Darren's menu music for Hades playing.
That's so weird.
It's so strange. You can flick between them. Did you get any of these, Frank? Any weird little uploads?
I have, I don't know what, I think at some point I was super into Counter-Strike Go, so this would have been, this track's like 10 years ago, and I think I don't know if I spent money or I think I would sell loot crates or they used to be back in the day when you would do competitive matches, it's probably the same. You would get like loot crates or keys, and it was like one person at 12 get something. So I accumulated so much stuff. At one point I sold an assault rifle for like $35.
Wow.
And then I have the Hotline Miami soundtrack as my like in-game thing.
Okay, that's cool.
And so, but then another weird thing, I don't know how this happened. Every time I finish a round, the Halo theme song plays. They're like, da, 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 da. So I think I must have bought that at some point. Like, my cosmetics are insane because this was 10 years ago. I don't remember anything. There was just 1 month. I was so into Counter-Strike Go. And I played with one friend named Snickerbones, who's probably still out there, who he was like...
Shout out Snickerbones.
Elite gold, and just carried me with like 3 of his friends, and he taught me everything. And it's like...
God.
And I used to play Rainbow Six with them, and it was just like a whole nother lifetime ago. But yeah, and then I was looking in the cosmetic shop, because all of a sudden I was playing games with friends, and like 2 of them all of a sudden changed their costumes, like, hey, look at me. It's the exact same thing we do in Fortnite. Everyone buys the stupidest cosmetic to like show off. And so there's an in-game cosmetic thing, and if I was on the fence, for $1 you can buy anime girl stickers to put on your gun. And I was like, oh no, I haven't done it yet, but I'm like, oh no.
Any gun or on one gun?
I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like, so it's like a gotcha. There's like 12 cute like anime girls. You spend $1, you get a sticker. Does that apply for every gun? Is it decal you can swap? I haven't dove into the cosmetics, but I'm like,
you don't know what you're getting, right? Because it is a gotcha, right? It's like a...
Yeah, so it's like 1 of 12, but all the designs are cute. So I don't know how often they're going to switch it, but it's like... I don't know. I during the pandemic, I spent so much on Fortnite that I'm trying to like not get sucked in again. But I don't know. I love cosmetics in video games. It's like I love, honestly, the dumber the better. But I don't know. I'm interested.
Yeah, I will say the iconic Counter-Strike looking terrorists and CTs are kind of like, it's a bit messier now because there's all the cosmetic-y stuff, so I feel like they don't pop as much, but I also don't care. I think the maps look great. I think they're really colorful, which is like sort of a nice change from the earlier games. I like that they're not scared of the color. I think is it Ancient is one of them, or I forget one of the maps. There's one, I think Italy looks great. I think Dust looks great. I think Office looks great. They all feel like the same, it's the time of day and the weather that's in Office that makes it Office. It's the lighting, it's like this super cloudy, late afternoon sort of, not very particularly like, like sort of ambient lighting that goes on, which I really like. And And yeah, the sound is good as well. For all the bullets sound interesting. There's definitely like a lot of them trying to let you know where people are. You know, if you're walking, there's a couple of spots in the levels where like you're walking on tiles and you're so fucking loud. Like it's like you're wearing high heels or something. So I'm loving it. I'm just like, I think it's really well put together. The shooting's good. The maps are good. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say bad to say about it. And I don't know why CS:GO never hooked in. It could be an early game thing as well, where like I'm smoking dudes at the moment, and maybe it's because there's a lot of folks playing at the moment, and in 2 months' time it'll be impossible to play all over again. But I don't know. I'm into it. Jeremy, as a Counter-Strike fan, going back a long time, do you have any questions or wonderings about?
No, I feel like I've watched a lot of videos of Counter-Strike 2. The reason I haven't started playing is because I feel like my relationship to competitive games is like my relationship to tobacco, where it's like it's so fiendy and all or nothing that sometimes it's better for me to abstain. Like my friends are really into Dota at the moment, and they keep asking me to play, and I just can't do it. It's like it's like I used to drink super hard with the boys, and now they're like, "Come on, dude, remember?" And you're like, I don't know, man. I've kind of like moved on from that in my life, but I definitely will fire up CS2. CS:GO is my least played Counter-Strike game, and I have like 400 hours or something. So yeah, I'll fire it up at some point. It is like intoxicating how it just looks like it's the perfect amount of different from how Counter-Strike Go looked, where it's like low contrast, high saturation, and everything looks kind of new, but it all looks familiar at the same time. So it's just like, it's an old friend with a new coat of paint.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I'm excited to fire it up. I just need to find the right stretch of time where I have no responsibilities and no one will like see me for a month as I wear the same t-shirt and sit in the same sweatpants.
I definitely like jumping into deathmatch if it's like low stakes. If I'm just like fucking around, like I just
those games, man. There's something about it that just hot wires my brain, and I'm like, oh, I could be the best. I could be the best. You know?
I'm with you. I always find someone who I'm with. Or there was a guy who had like a fucked up username, and I was like, that's fucked up, man. Don't have that username. And I was like, I'm going to kill you every single time. And then he right at the end of the map, we were like fighting for third, and he like smoked me 3 times in a row. And I was so fucking angry. I turned the game off after the round was over. I will say there's definitely like a lot of, I turned off the voice stuff, which is a shame because I had there was a bunch of people shouting at each other. And then I had another game where these guys were like shouting at each other, but like it started getting funny, and then they were like, one of the guys was like, "I'm gonna fucking stab you," and then the guys, "Yeah, I'm gonna stab you first," and then they started like only spawning with knives and trying to find each other. And then a bunch of other people in the map started to take out the knives too. And I was like, fuck, these guys are just ruining the game, talking too much. I'm going to shoot them every single time. So I was like, and after about 3 minutes, they were still doing the knife thing. And then one of them came up to me and I was like, all right, this is pretty funny. I'll take him a knife. They were like, yeah, Daddy's on board. Yeah, we got another knife guy. So then there was just like a crew of people in this deathmatch level that were just going around stabbing everyone, which, I was like, yeah, this reminds me of Counter-Strike. This is a Counter-Strike game. People are just making up their own fun. So yeah, I do hope
what's great about it.
Yeah, and I do hope they get like some of the tools out to people. Like if they get I think what'll be interesting is if it is, Source 2, I'll get the SDK out to people or whatever tools they need for folks to be able to make their own maps and stuff. I think like if that's the plan, that could be very interesting because you're going to have like a whole new engine, a whole new, new possibilities, new, sort of ceiling on how everything can look. And there's probably some under the hood stuff there that's going to be really interesting to work with as well. Like, who knows? Like, if this game is made in same engine as Dota, like, can you have some like really interesting full conversion mods of Counter-Strike? You know what I mean? Like, and it's also the first person game that uses Source 2. So, Alex, I don't know if Alex did. No, Alex used did he use modified Source 1? I forget. Maybe he'd use Source 2. I can't remember. But in any case, obviously there was only a certain amount of modding that could be done with the Alex stuff. Especially because it was kind of somewhat plugged into VR. So like, I do think that would be like, who knows, maybe hopefully they get the tools out to people and then we might have a little renaissance of first person games, especially if like fucking Unity are doing what they're doing. And then there's this recent news with Sergey Galankin, who was the interviewee on the very first episode of the Noclip podcast. I interviewed Sergey for an episode titled The Steam Spy. It's on this exact feed right now. He left Epic Games yesterday and he was talking about how Epic Games 5.0, which is going to be like a platform. And it's like, oh my God, are Unity and Epic both going to like shit the bed and make it impossible to make games? Like, can you just stop it? Just stop it. So if who knows, if Source were just like, here's Source, go make games, that might be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, Half-Life Alyx is on Source 2. Cool. It appears the list of licensed game for Source 2 is Dota 2, The Lab. I don't know what The Lab is.
Oh yeah, that's the pack-in with the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, Steam VR Home Artifact, Dota Underlords, Half-Life Alyx, Aperture Desk Job.
Oh, sorry, that is The Lab is the pack-in with the Vive with the what's it called? Is it the Vive?
Index.
No, Index. Sorry.
Yeah.
Aperture Desktop is the Steam Deck one.
And then Counter-Strike 2, and then the only non-licensed one is Sandbox from Face Punch, I think they're called, the Gary's Mod people, Rust.
Is that what they call that game?
S&Box.
Yes, that's right. I knew it had a weirdness in it.
Yeah, by Face Punch.
Sandbox. That's not out yet though, right? He's still working on that.
I think it's available to community maybe, but
really?
It's definitely not out proper. I've seen people talking about working in it in their community, but I don't know what the status is of its release.
Cool. Yeah.
But anyway, dude, I agree with you. I mean, think about the renaissance in games that was born out of modding tools that led to Team Fortress and Counter-Strike and Dota. Like there was this blossoming of games. I do think that the problem with it as a platform though is the monetization. Like the amount of hours that it takes to make a total conversion mod that's like a legitimate game is sufficient that people should get paid for it. And I don't think that there is you can like license Steam stuff.
Oh, you mean like selling stuff, or
you mean your best hope of getting paid for doing a mod is being like wasn't Ice Frog a modder who worked on Dota and then he got hired by Valve or something?
I mean, that was what mods was basically like that's what the original Half-Life team. Some of those were well, maybe not the original one, but definitely Half-Life 2 were a bunch of Team Fortress, Quake modders and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, obviously, in the modern age, I do wonder if is there a pathway there for them to sell? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like then you're selling mods, and that's half the fun of mods is just installing 50 of them and seeing which ones are bad.
Yeah, of course.
But I hear what you're saying. It would be cool if they could just if you could sell a mod on Steam. I mean, they let Black Mesa get sold. I don't think they're. It seems like they're not like. It seems like Valve are like fairly. When they want to be, they're fairly like mod happy. I don't know, how did the Dota stuff get? Because like Dota Auto Chess and all those ones, were they? I don't know how any of that shit worked. Was that stuff people modded? And can you mod? I think you can mod Dota, right?
I'm pretty sure you can mod Dota. Yeah, I don't know about the auto chess and stuff, but I just know that an absurd number of Valve's best games were just like mods that then got adopted and scooped up and kind of transformed into proper products and stuff. So
you got Team Fortress 2, I guess that was a Quake mod, and then what else? I guess Counter-Strike was and
Dota. Those are kind of the biggies.
And Dota, you're right. Dota
boys.
was.
Yeah.
Was Dota a Warcraft mod?
Yes.
Yeah, so
There's a Warcraft 3 mod.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Counter-Strike 2. It's free. Pick it up. I didn't try stream it at the same time, but I played it on my old ass PC that's in my house at the moment because all my new ones here in the office, and it runs really well. So I will say the level time loading was maybe the one thing that took a little bit of time. That might match up with the speed of my CPU or GPU or whatever. I don't know what it does there, but once I was in the game, it feels like it just loads everything. You know what I mean? So when you're in the game, it flows fast. Good stuff. Counter-Strike 2. Jeremy, you went ahead, it seems, and played a game that I promised to play, and I did buy a few days ago, but I've yet to play, which came up in our emails on the last episode. Rain World. Tell me
Yes.
about slug cats, my friend.
Slug cats are adorable and powerless, and you will see them die countless times.
Oh no.
Much to your chagrin. Yeah, so Rain World is okay, so I mentioned at the end of the last podcast we did that I'd been playing a bit of Rain World with a friend of mine. Rain World was a game that on our rank 100 games list ended up criminally low because none of us had played it. So it was like, I think we said last episode it was number 96 or something, next to Shower with Your Dad Simulator. And now that I have played this game and I recognize it as something that will probably be in a museum someday, it feels extra hurtful.
Heinous.
So, okay, let me say 3 things about Rain World before I go into any details. I think Rain World is it's an unbelievable piece of game design, and it does things that only games could do, number 1. Number 2, it will probably be in a museum someday. And number 3...
Here's the bad one.
And number 3, I'm still not sure if I like it.
Okay.
It's okay. So it is a platformer. It's kind of this post-apocalyptic world, very light touch narrative, like entirely visual, basically, like not a lot of the narrator coming in and being like, the slug cats were tired of running. And so what you just like are a slug cat, you're separated from your family in like a very short little cutscene at the beginning, and then you're just thrust into this world. And you're given no explanation of what to do other than there are shelters in the world. You have to go out, you have to get food, and then once you have a sufficient amount of food on this meter, you can go back to a shelter and rest there essentially for the night. You have to do that in a certain time scale, or the rain comes, hence the name Rain World. And the rain is, I've never heard a louder sound effect in a video game. It's like, it's all consuming. So the rain comes and kills you if you don't get there. So
like it's acid rain, or do you drown?
You just get like pummeled by it. It is just like such a torrential downpour.
God.
Yeah, it covers the whole sky. Like I can't even see what's happening to the slug cat because it's so all consuming.
A deluge.
It's a deluge. It's a biblical deluge. So that's kind of the core loop. Is you're going out, you're getting food, you're trying not to die, you're going back to shelter, and you're resting. Now, when you rest, if you have a sufficient amount of food, there is a meter that goes up that is referred to as a karma meter. The karma meter has these kind of like
I know that. I've been playing Fallout New Vegas for 3 weeks, Jeremy.
There you go. Or if you'll recall the Mayfly story, the karma came up then as well. So I don't even know if they call it the karma system in the game. Like there's no reference to it, but I had to look up a beginner's guide to Rain World. And if you're listening to this and you're worried about spoilers for Rain World, I have to say that
I'm worried about that.
I can't spoil any more of this game after 12 hours than I could have after 1. I literally have no more information. I have more experience.
And does it feel like there is more information there to be derived?
If there is a like Outer Worlds or Outer Wilds style turn coming at some point where it's going to be like, oh, you know those things you saw? They're actually this. I don't know what it is, and I don't see a possibility space for it to exist. So what you're doing is the karma meter goes up, and there are these gates in the world. They have symbols corresponding to the karma meter. You can only pass through them if you have the right karma level, of which there are like 5. Now, here's where it gets a little complicated. The game does not tell. The entire game is incredibly difficult. You die constantly, and sometimes it feels kind of bullshit because one of the brilliant things about the game is that it's systems driven, and so you'll go out in the world and there are creatures hunting you. You're sort of the weakest creature in this world almost, or towards the bottom. So these giant like lizards with armored heads will come and get you. There's like vulture things that will swoop down and rip your skull off, and like. Just everything is hostile, and you're gonna die a bunch,
and like kills you immediately. It sounds like
basically.
very fast. Okay,
which is fine. Like I like difficult games. I like roguelikes. I like getting my ass beaten by video games. The problem is that because there is sort of like semi-randomness where the lizards will wander around and do their own thing. Some of the animals will fight each other. You'll end up in situations where you'll go through a tube into the next screen over, and there will be a lizard waiting with its gaping maw outside of the tube, and you'll instantly die.
Okay.
So I feel like in a game like Dark Souls, where you're in Sen's Fortress, and there's like some bullshit, like you turn the corner and the lizard is waiting to cut your head off, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to do that again. Right. It feels, because there is predictability in the unfairness, it feels like if you miss that step of the dance, it's on you. in Rain World, there are many times where there's literally just nothing you can do.
Feels cheap, yeah.
And I think that is as a piece of art, as a piece of interactive art, an interactive world where you are supposed to feel powerless, I think that is like they nailed it. It should feel that way. But when you finally got the karma level to go through the door, you're full up on food, and you're with your boy. I'm playing this co-op with my friend as well, but it's almost the same as the base game. I've played
two slug cats or
2 slug cats, yeah. So I played 2 hours of the base game alone, and I've played like 10 or so with my buddy. And it's like it's the same map and stuff. So I've been afraid to look up how different the co-op is because I don't want to get spoiled on stuff. But you know, you're full up on food, get the right karma level, bust through a tube, and there's just like a lizard there waiting for you. It feels bad because it's like there's a high time cost to it. So it's a really frustrating game. Once you get through these doors, all you'll find are more enemies, difficult enemies, and more doors. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is that like I have nothing to reveal. The structure.
Cool. Well, yeah, but saying you have nothing to reveal is also revealing that there's nothing behind.
Well, yeah, but how am I supposed to talk about the game if I can't talk about like more than the first hour though?
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I'm always like super sensitive to that type of thing. So I'm always like maybe overly so, but that's where my personal limit is when it comes to spoilers.
All right.
Yeah, so I don't know. It looks gorgeous as well. Like graphically, is that a big part of like is the vibe of it like a big part of why it's fun? Because it seems like it's nice to look at. Yeah, does it sound good and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's very sort of like atmospherically engrossing. I would say that the thing that I really admire about Rain World is its dedication to sort of the vision they had for this world. I think that like because it's so hands off and so oppressive and so difficult, it really like you really do feel like you're steeped in this kind of oppressive world where you're not supposed to. It's not a power fantasy. It's kind of like an anti-power fantasy, and I think that's why people are such ardent defenders of this game and like evangelists for it, is because it curates an atmosphere that is so strong, and it doesn't feel like I could see a version of this game where the designers pull their punches a little bit and are like, okay, if you die 10 times, then maybe we like give you a little help or whatever, or like a hint. But it is almost entirely nonverbal, and it never feels like the developer's reaching out a helping hand to you. It just feels like you dust yourself off and you hope for the best.
Cool.
But yeah, it's really good. I don't know if I'm having a ton of fun with it. There's been moments where it's so fun, but like sometimes they're just like towards the end of a session, me and my buddy Brian are just like defeated, and we're like, man, where's this going? Like, is this going somewhere? So I don't know. We're gonna see it through, and I'm hopeful that there will be a turn that people. I mean, people say like now that I finished it, it's one of my best games of all time and stuff. Right. So I want to know what they know.
Survivor's guilt or something.
Yeah, it could be that. I just want to know what they know. If there's something coming, I want to know what it is. I just hope that there is an it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fascinated. I'm gonna give it a whirl as well, and maybe we can book club it down the road
or like trauma share.
Exactly. Yeah. Have a go to some sort of what do you call it, like a support group, a Rain World support group or something. After the fact. That's Rain World. We're finally talking about Rain World. It's like the story of this podcast. I have to go back to the list and see where Rain World should go once we've all had a dabble with it. Frank, you talked about Counter-Strike 2, but also it's Halloween over in Call of Duty, and some people are dressing up. What do we got over there?
This is insane. This feels like a practical joke or some. I don't understand why. Call of Duty, for whatever reason, they're sunsetting Modern Warfare 2 before the launch of Modern Warfare 3.
Boo.
The last battle pass of Modern Warfare 2, Todd McFarlane's Spawn is the entire battle pass.
What?
Yes, I'm not kidding. If you look at Call of Duty on like the Steam page, it's straight up Spawn Season 6. There is I'm probably the biggest Spawn fan, second to Todd McFarlane. No one else cares about Spawn. I've been collecting Spawn comic books for like $1 a piece from junk bins across every comic book store in California. For the last 3 years, I pick up a Spawn comic book every week from the comic shop. I can't talk to anyone else who gives a shit about Spawn. All of a sudden, Call of Duty, if there's a promo video, I'm Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn. I've teamed up with Activision to bring Spawn to life in Call of Duty. You can, the battle pass. You can unlock Violator in 2 forms. So you can be the big fat John Leguizamo clown. You can be the skinny mutant freak. The little where is he? You can be the skinny little mutant freak alien Violator. You can be military Spawn. You can be Al Simmons, who was the soldier before he died and became Spawn, which is voiced by Keith David. So when you're playing Call of Duty, it's there's enemies over here, or whatever. It's Keith David's voice. You can straight up be King Spawn. And it's just like you unlock like the little Spawn icon, Spawn charms, and it's like, is there any other Call of Duty? I mean, again, Spawn was a huge thing in the 90s. I don't mean to be so prudent, but it's like, this is like, this is like the battle pass for me. I'm freaking out. I can't believe it. So I got all my friends the past week, and we're just grinding every day. We're just grinding that battle pass. Is
all this stuff going to be like dead once Modern Warfare 3 comes out?
So I think what they're doing for the first time ever is I think all the content you get and unlock and pay for Modern Warfare 2 and the maps is going to carry over to Modern Warfare 3. Every Call of Duty the last few years, it's like there's 3 different teams who work on these games. So like there was like Modern Warfare and then Cold War and then Vanguard, and like I paid $20 for a Judge Dredd skin in Cold War, cannot do that in Vanguard. I paid $20 for a Snoop Dogg skin in Vanguard, can't do that in Modern Warfare 2, whatever. So that's why I've been hesitant on buying skins this time. But apparently now with Modern Warfare 2, it's going to be the same engine. So that's why I want to grind this battle pass, that way I can bring Spawn moving forward into Modern Warfare 3 whenever that comes out. But it's just kind of surreal and absurd that all of a sudden, like, this is the most Frank-centric battle pass to ever be in a Call of Duty. Except one time there was a Jigsaw skin you could buy for, like, I think Modern Warfare 1 that I missed out on. But so I'm happy about it. I don't know if any other Call of Duty players even know what Spawn is. So
I had a look at their YouTube channel just to see, and it's like the Call of Duty YouTube channel is like because I was shocked that there was 77,000 views on a Todd McFarlane video, because it's very well produced and they probably spent a fortune making it. But it's the battle passes. They have a Lara Croft operator bundle that came out, which clearly didn't sell enough copies for them to not sack all those people at Crystal Dynamics. Half the studios we've done documentaries on have fired a bunch of people in the past 2 weeks. It's been very weird to read, and our thoughts about everyone affected. It's pretty nuts. I think Epic, when we were away last week, Epic acts like 16% of their something super high of their staff. Madness. There's another one here though, which speaks to me as a frank one. COD celebrates 50 years of hip hop, and it's just like Snoop's in it and a bunch of other people. Did you get this one?
So I was on the fence. Nicki Minaj. So the hip hop 50-year anniversary. We're celebrating 50 years of hip hop with Nicki Minaj, 21 Savage, and Snoop Dogg. Now, the Nicki Minaj one I did want to get, and I had 2 friends who got it. The problem is you are bright pink and your hair goes down to your waist. You are the most visible thing. Not everything in Call of Duty is like dark, like brown, green, or blue. It's a very dark, sludgy game. Nicki Minaj is so bright that you're a huge walking target.
That's amazing.
So I'm on the fence of getting it. I think I'm going to sink all my like time. I paid the $10 for the Spawn Battle Pass, but Nicki Minaj is in the item shop. I'm like
in Quake 3 when we used to, you could force the neon Klesk was the biggest, most colorful model, and then you could, people would pick Orb so that it looked like you were smaller, even though the hitboxes were all the same. That's hilarious. She is very pink. Nicki Minaj operator bundle here on this trailer, and this is a lot. What a fucking weird time and place we live in. She's driving this huge pink Hummer. She's just shooting these dudes with her pink gun. Everything's pink. Nicki Minaj running through an explosion. Unbelievable. There you go. Let's see what else. What was the one before that? Let's see whether the Snoop Dogg returns. I can't believe you don't have the Snoop Dogg one.
That is shocking to me.
I bought the one in Vanguard a year ago, and now it's like I don't want to double. I would rather buy Nicki Minaj than Snoop Dogg again. But I do appreciate he's back. But I feel like, oh man, I don't want to rebuy Snoop again.
Gotta diversify your assets.
Yeah, right. What about Kevin Durant?
Yeah, that's a weird one too.
Yeah.
They also added the one that is pretty cool is Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's
cool. I didn't get that one, but that's pretty badass. Like,
there's something weird about like a sports star just like
killing people.
He's literally in this trailer. Oh my god, he throws a grenade through a basketball hoop in this trailer. Like a frag grenade.
I as someone who loves video games and video games where you kill people, there is still something in my guts that turns a little bit at like the because like sanitization of violence is part of video games. It's like it's part of the cognitive dissonance of having fun with games. But there is something that's like a little weird when it becomes that cartoonish, where it's like a celebrity throwing a grenade through a basketball hoop and blowing people up feels like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not taking a video games will make us do violence stance. There's something that makes me feel weird about it.
How about it? Well, you can also get the pre-order bundle of the Khaled al-Assad unlock, which is the bad guy from Modern Warfare, if I remember. He was the guy who shoots all the American guys at the start. Man, this is a weird... And now it's just come down and now it's fucking Trailer Pack Mega Godzilla bundle and Kong bundle, which I remember you talking about last year. So just... Hey, man... You got to keep yourself relevant, I guess, in 2023. And that's how they're doing it with Spawn. Seems like a weird fit. Frank, do we have any emails, Discords this week?
Yeah, so thank you. We had Ollie Kant write into our Discord. Again, if people have questions or anything they want to share with us, podcast at noclip.video. Or if you're on the Patreon, you can jump in the Discord. We have a podcast chat. We would love any questions or anything you want to share. That's how we got started on Rain World. Someone asked about it.
Yeah.
So Ollie Kant had a great question. What game do you have the longest standing unfinished business with? Whether that's by getting stuck on something, putting it on hold for another game, or just simply forgetting about it. For me, it's Jet Force Gemini. It's been well over 20 years and I still never made it past the Grasshopper Twins boss. Look it up for reference if you want. If I ever went back and aced it now, I think I'd break down and cry.
Man, that's a good question. You guys got anything? I don't have to think on this for a second.
There was two that came to mind. One is Persona 4, which like I started, I think June 2020 during quarantine, and then immediately after that, or that same month, I think Last of Us 2 came out, and it was like I put down Persona 4, forgot about Persona 4, and then I think I wanted to get back to it, and then like Valve released the Steam Deck, so I pre-ordered that like 6 months in advance, like, oh, when the Steam Deck comes, I will finally play Persona 4. And then by the time the Steam Deck came, I put 100 hours into Vampire Survivors. So Persona 4 has always been getting pushed aside. Now I'm doing a little bit more traveling, so now that's like my Steam Deck game. Like I was on an airplane playing it, and that felt nice and cozy. The other game, the actual like from childhood one, is Grand Theft Auto 3 out of that Grand Theft Auto trilogy. Like I beat Vice City on Xbox. I beat San Andreas like way later, like in 2010, I sat down and beat it. GTA 3, I got to as a kid. I got to the third island. I used cheats and strategy guides to get my way through it, game facts, all that. One day I was messing around with cheats and I turn on the pedestrian riot mode, which makes everyone in the game just throw Molotovs.
Crazy.
Crazy, drive over you. And I accidentally saved my game.
Oh, no.
For whatever reason, you cannot turn off that specific cheat code.
Oh, really?
So it was impossible to beat the game. And they've since put out like a remaster. I don't know what you want to call it. There's a new version of GTA 3 out.
Right.
And so I started a new game and like, oh, it just does not hold up. Like it would be so frustrating to try to beat that again, but that's kind of like the one where it's like I still never beat GTA 3, and I feel like if I mainlined the main story, I could probably do it in 20 hours.
Yeah,
and there's probably enough cheats and strategies at this point, so that might be like a lifelong goal to shut. But that's I think the oldest one I haven't beaten
that's
yet.
wild. I remember completing GTA 3 when I was like, what was that? 2004? No, that was San Andreas. 3 came out in 2001. Then
2001
I guess?
October, I think.
So I was 15 or something. Yeah, I remember. And the end fight is not amazing. I think it's like a chase and a thing, and then you have to do a sniper mission, I think, right at the end of it, in the dark, in the middle of the map. Back at the start, I think it is, area. I forget where, but yeah. Huh. That's a funny one. Yeah. We should do that on like a series or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to. I've never revisited GTA 3, but
cool.
I have such bizarre memories of it because my parents they just heard that it was like a game where you murder sex workers.
Oh yeah.
And so they were like, which is not entirely untrue. And
it is a game where you could murder sex workers.
Yeah. So me and my brother were like, no, it's like you know, we're playing Mario Kart and we like want to go off the track. It's like we would just play it like that. Like we would just drive. We would be very responsible. And my parents were not cool. I got in a huge fight with my dad on Christmas because my parents were like, "We're not getting you the fucking game." Like, I was expecting to unwrap it, and I was like, "This sucks." Yeah. And then my brother's friends would just bring it over and we'd play it. And then if my parents came down to like be like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" We'd be like, "We're just watching a movie." Like just sneak GTA 3 in the basement.
It's amazing.
But I would love to revisit it with you, Frank. That sounds fun.
I had a buddy who was going, where was he going? He was going on, I think his parents were like recently divorced, and I think he had a PlayStation 2 in both houses, I think is what was happening. And I think he was going to stay with his dad so for Christmas. So he like let me have his PS2 and his copy of GTA 3 for like 2 weeks. I couldn't believe it. I was like, my good friend Seamus, and he so I just like, I was like, I got 2 weeks to play the shit out of this game, and I just did nothing else. I don't even know what I got for Christmas that year. I was just so happy to play his PlayStation 2. Man. Jeremy, do you have any unfinished
I got
business?
2. I got a new one and an old one.
Okay.
The new one is I've been playing Persona 5 for 7 years.
Whoa.
I'll probably never beat it. I don't know. I know Persona 5 is like the greatest thing ever. I play for 10 hours and I'm like the first 5 hours I'm like, well, the UI and the like, it's so cool and it's like looks so good. And then after 10 hours I'm like, this is so padded with filler and I'm so bored. I think the writing is good. I just think that like the dungeons don't resonate with me. They're very like long, arduous JRPG dungeons, and I just like bounce off it. It's a brilliant game that I'm having trouble appreciating. I play 10 hours of it a year. The other one, the older one, is Body Harvest. I could not.
Oh my God, I was not expecting that.
Could not beat Body Harvest as a child. And I've been thinking about revisiting it. I actually did just a test Twitch stream the other day just to see how it works. And I feel like Body Harvest might be a fun one to just like stream. I feel like it would be a descent into madness in a way that might be interesting to behold.
Yeah, we covered it very, very slightly in our history of DMA design and the early Grand Theft Auto games that came up. I never heard of it prior to doing that documentary.
It's really hard.
And it's such a weird game. And you told me all about it. I remember you told me about your time playing it. The ones that come up for me, I never completed Mass Effect 3. I think, and I loved 2. And I got out of 2, I went ride or die, no matter what happens, I'm not reloading. And I got out of 2 with everyone. Except, do you pick Rex or someone else? I forget. Do you pick if Rex comes or if someone else dies? I forget. But anyway, so I got into 3, and then I was playing 3, and I was getting through it. And then all the controversy about the ending, I think, kicked up or something. And I was kind of like, kind of took the wind under my sails or whatever, and I was like, oh, all right. And then I just kind of slowly stopped playing it, and I've never gone back, and I've always wanted to. And now that they've like changed the ending, I don't know if that makes me more or less inclined to want to finish it. But I remember thinking, oh, is that because the ending of Mass Effect 2 is so good, and it's so your story and who you brought along and whose missions character missions you did, companion missions, and who you slept with, and all of this. Did you sleep with the alien or did you sleep with Jessica Chobot? It's just like all the normal decisions you make in a video game. And then to hear that Mass Effect 3 was like, no, like it'll all just end the same way. Basically, you just do a Deus Ex thing at the end. I was like, oh. Fuck, and then I stopped. And the other one's The Walking Dead. I've like started and stopped the original Walking Dead. I don't know, 4 or 5 times maybe. I've done this first season of The Walking Dead, and I think I've gotten into like the 4th episode is the furthest I've gotten, and then something happens and I see something shiny over here and I walk away, and then it's been like 5 months and I'm like, oh fuck, I better start again. And I've never completed it, and I've always wanted to. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of Telltale games I wish I'd played more. Like the Monkey Island ones I've not really played much either. And so there's a lot of those. Anyone else have any other ones they've come up with?
Rain World. There's this game called Rain World. I'm struggling to beat it.
I'm struggling to start it.
Funny enough, like the one on this list that would have been was Fallout New Vegas, and we'll talk about that
funny.
soon.
Yeah.
But like Fallout
Same.
New Vegas is a game I started 2010, I think October, and then I had midterms in November. I GameFly'd it. I sent it back to GameFly, and then it wasn't until like September 2023, 13 years later, I finally beat it. So I'm excited to talk about it.
I had a very similar experience where I was like at the ending where you are like at Caesar's Legion and you are about to make the call, and I stopped and saved, and I think it might have been 10 or 12 years later. It was like, it might have been during COVID I finally finished it. But like, I played like 200 hours of that. I'd finished everything. I just hadn't done the last thing you do. Because I was burned from Fallout 3. Because Fallout 3, the game just fucking ends. Right? You do the thing, and then they're like, peace. Credits roll, Liam Neeson. And you're like, what the fuck? That was it? So I think New Vegas stops as well, doesn't it? It gives you like the little
It spits
Ron
you out.
Perlman comes up or whatever, right?
It spits you out right before you do like the last mission.
Okay, yeah.
So it makes a system save, which is pretty good.
Yes, you're right. Okay, so that's where I was. So I had a similar thing. Let's have a quick little thing about next week maybe. I've been playing Fallout New Vegas very weirdly this time around because I feel like I've done the story and quest so many times that like now I'm just like fucking around with systems like a sandboxy weirdo. How are you guys playing? Are you playing straight? Are you playing in a different way or?
I did entirely straight because I could not remember how I played last time, but I did very much. I think I played 20 hours before I ever got to New Vegas. I went
cool,
around the entire map and then did all the main stuff and finished it.
Oh, you finished it this time? Mm-hmm. Wow.
I'm right up at the end. I'll probably finish it tonight. I haven't done everything because I want to do a replay of it. I want to do like a low intelligence run because I know that this game has one of the funniest low intelligence like tracks on all the dialogue stuff.
Oh, that's great.
I was going to save my cowboy name sharing for the New Vegas podcast, but I'll tease it here and then we can revisit it.
Okay.
I've been role playing as a dynamite obsessed cowboy by the name of Tits Nelson. And
Dynamite's great.
Tits Nelson goes everywhere with a stick of dynamite in his hand. I've been doing a lot of like encountering Caesar's Legion along the way, and then I'll make a quick save, and then I'll fight them just with dynamite and kill them all.
Oh my god!
And then I'll load back and not commit.
It's so satisfying though.
It's it's better than it's better than anything. I'll save the story, but I had the craziest combat encounter, and I was streaming to my girlfriend who has like 800 hours in New Vegas. It's her favorite game of all time.
Wow.
She's played it like a million times. And there was a situation where she's like, this won't work. You'll die. And I was like, no, just give Tits a second there. And 30, 40, 50 minutes later, she was like, I literally cannot. She was in disbelief. She's like, I've played almost 1,000 hours of this game and there was no way. So I'll tell the story on the pod.
Give Tits a chance, man. Gotta get a t-shirt with that on it.
Tits Nelson.
Tits Nelson. Beautiful stuff. Well, we'll be back. This episode goes up on a Friday. Thanks to Jesse for producing it. And our Fallout New Vegas book club will go up some stage over the weekend, basically, just on this feed. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. The Burger King documentary is also live, 40 minutes. Somewhat dev, somewhat game culture, a lot of heart, a lot of interesting. If you want to learn about how they got the mocap right for Sneak King, then we have the documentary for you. Go check that out over on the podcast channel. We're working really hard on a bunch of stuff at the moment. Bunch of Noclip stuff, bunch of secret tape projects that we can't really talk about, but you'll start to see some of that stuff hit this month and next month as well. We've got more docs coming. We're working on... Oh, what have I talked about publicly? Dwarf Fortress is a little kicked along. The one that I filmed that me and Jeremy have been working on a lot for the past 2 months, I still think I haven't officially announced it yet. But that's getting work. That's almost done. It's like an hour and 40 minutes.
That's going to be a fucking good one.
That's going to be fun. This will be a good time to announce one maybe publicly. Let's just do it. We're doing one on NHL 94, which is maybe one of the best sports games ever made. I interviewed a bunch of the original devs who made that game 30 years ago. Also talked to a handful of the current sorry, did I say NFL? NHL. Sorry, did I say NFL?
I think you said NHL.
I think it's NHL. We also talked to a handful of the NHL 24 people as well, just about the legacy of it and stuff. The old school dudes remembered way more than I was expecting. It was bizarre, yeah. And that game was made under a very weird circumstance where this guy basically in the woods in Maine, like working in a barn, and basically programmed that whole game on.
That's my dream, dude.
Right? Yeah, totally. You should. Yeah. So it's going to be a lot of farm. I also have confirmed that we have booked a ice skating rink in the area to film the stand-ups for it. So that should be,
or the fall downs, as the case may be.
You're right, or the fall downs. So that doc will probably be out in November. I would say maybe early in November. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And we have a couple of other secret ones we're working on too, which we can't talk about. But, you know, hey, become a patron. Patreon.com/Noclip. You can find out all about this shit and see early sneak peeks of ones we haven't even announced yet publicly. All right, that's it. Frank, what are you doing for the rest of your week?
A lot of gaming, a lot of working in errands. I don't know if I'll be able to make it, but in Los Angeles, there's a Keith Haring art exhibit at the Broad Museum. It ends this Saturday, so I'm going to see over the next few days.
Who's Keith Haring?
Keith Haring's the one who did all the cool 80s pop art of like the stick figures and stuff, and like
the dogs.
Oh yeah,
a lot
I
of, like,
see this. Yes.
Yeah. There's a whole room that's just filled with like the most beautiful dick drawings ever.
Yeah, I just googled it. I didn't know about the dick drawings. I know Keith Haring a little bit, but I just got one, and it's a little guy with a dick, and the dick is a little guy.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Hey, Google Keith Haring Bad Boys.
Okay,
that's a pretty good painting right there.
Let's see.
Oh wait, is that the right one? That mightn't be the right one.
Whoa, that's sick.
I've got one here. I'm gonna send it to you in the chat here.
In our private channel.
Which is this is some.
There's one that's like Bad Boys 4 is straight up goatsy.
That's the one I'm looking at.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
So a lot of that is on display at the Broad. So I'm waiting to hear if some friends' availability, and we're gonna try to go. It's also very close to Little Tokyo, so. I've been obsessively, like, I don't know, getting into figure collecting because I'm trying to spice up my room, and so nice. I want to get some more anime figures.
Get some goatee Keith
Haring. There's one of Bad Boys where it's like a guy beating off and then another guy showing his butthole, and I would like to imagine that it's Will Smith and Martin Lawrence because it's in the Bad Boys series.
Oh my god!
Just a quick whip pan that's happening around them.
Yeah, it's a cut scene. Michael Bay was like, guys, I just don't know about this one. It doesn't seem tonally consistent.
Oh my god! Okay, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. Jeremy, what are you doing for the rest of your week?
Maybe dipping into a little bit of one of the projects we talked about for Noclip and seeing what's up with that stuff. And yeah, I've been working my ass off on the narrative RPG I talk about every now and again.
Nice.
I'm getting pretty close to like just announcing it. I just want to wait till it's like the first bit. I've done like a bunch of little games that I just send around to friends and stuff, but this will be like the first kind of multi-year project. So
Sick.
it's I've been scripting. I got there's a thing called Yarn Spinner. It's a narrative engine that people use for like Night in the Woods and a bunch of different games. And I finally got it to play nice with my Unity prototype. So I've got it. It's like got a bunch of custom commands. So now I can just have like jump Ezra 2, and it's like a 2-second jump by a character named Ezra.
Cool.
It's really, really cool and elegant, and it's got node-based editing, so which is very helpful because when you're writing a non-linear story, if you just have it as a block of text, it's impossible to follow. But now Yarn Spinner has this built-in kind of like node system, so there's just this beautiful spider web of narrative emerging. But
excellent.
Yeah, so it's been.
What do you think you'll do? Just get it up? You do an early access thing, or like a little Kickstarter, or a little,
I don't know.
Just a wish list thing, or
man, I've put so many hours into it that I definitely would like to seek some funding for it in some capacity. It would be cool to do like a Kickstarter thing to finish it, or the other thing I've been thinking about is doing like a little Patreon just for my dev stuff and continue to do dev videos. I've just been thinking very hard about how to do that with a game that's so narratively heavy, because I think like it would be very easy to spoil a lot of the story stuff by talking about it.
Right.
So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about it. But yeah, there will be something before the end of the year. I definitely will have the first like 30 minutes of the game is playable with like some placeholder art assets and stuff. So I was thinking maybe like a Patreon, and then get like people who are like interested would be patrons, and maybe they play test the beginning and get feedback.
That'd
and
be
stuff.
dope.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think you can do some integration with itch on Patreon, if I'm right.
Oh, really?
I think so. You might be able to distribute it that way or something.
That's
to
cool.
people. I think you should. Yeah. I can't remember. If you go to Patreon, I think it's patreon.com/tools. I always just type in Patreon tools.
Cool.
And it gives you or it's apps. That's it. Patreon.com/apps, and it'll give you a list of all the ones that integrate straight into it. And I think itch is one of them.
That rules.
Because I know Steam is not. So yeah, I'm not sure how integrated that is. It says distribute your digital goods, control how people can access your work, stuff like that. That's pretty cool.
Awesome.
So maybe that's a good way of doing it.
All right. Well, if you want to play, a sad RPG with a very gritty sense of humor, then keep your eyes peeled. Sick.
I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of the week. I got a lot of work because we're all filming last week and we're all filming next week. So I'm trying to get a bunch of these documentaries that are unannounced edited and out the door. One of them is involves quite a large corporation, which we haven't signed anything, but as a make good, I know I need to like give them a look. People want to look. If they want to look at something, we give it to them. They've no right to reply. But I know the problem here is that when I send it to them, they probably won't look at it for like 2 fucking weeks. So I'm trying to get them an early cut this week so I can then disappear for a week, and then they can look at it and go, well, nothing. They'll say nothing, and then it'll go up on the internet, because that's how this whole process has been with them. We've been trying to get like sign off to do like interviews with people who they have contracts with, and then they'll get back to us and we just go do them anyway. So probably a lot of that sort of stuff. And playing games. I want to play more Baldur's Gate. I want to play more Counter-Strike 2. I want to play some Rain World.
Hell yeah.
Assassin's Creed Mirage is coming out this week, which I know my wife is going to be diving straight into as well. So maybe I'll check out some of that as well. I'm hopeful for that one. It takes place in the ancient city of Baghdad, I believe.
Oh, cool.
So that's pretty cool. Bit of a throwback to the first Assassin's Creed, which is one of my favorites. So yeah, we'll see. If you have any questions, like Frank said, podcast at noclip.video, send them our way. And until... I should probably mention the Battle Pass holders now that I'm here. Hey, shout out to all of our Battle Pass holders. Battle Royale games, Arno, Richard Matheson, James Brown, I'm sorry guys. Jason Drury, I'm sorry. Mark Rojas, forgive me. Ryan Cobb, Tucker Morgan, Crimson Cyclist, Sven Hooster, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Andy Fegan, Darren Birmingham. Okay, for the last ones, you guys are going to tell me what they're going to dress up as for Halloween. We'll alternate it. Frank, you'll go first. Eric Hamilton Scheider is going to dress up as...
Austin Powers.
Cameron Ladd.
Simon Pegg in that movie where they drink a lot.
Alex Sarf.
Megan.
Alex Goucher.
Simon Pegg in that movie where he kills the undead.
George Chakotis.
The Punisher.
Oh, it's good.
That's
Jacob Godserve.
Bruce Willis in Die Hard.
Oh, brilliant. James Andrew Adams.
Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece.
Tohir Teliev.
John Cusack in Say Anything.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Ryson.
Camel Joe.
Beautiful. Camel Joe. That's a good. That would freak people out, especially if you got the mouth working right. That would be very upsetting. Got that camel mouth. And then the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people that I mentioned at the start that I did not say who they were. What collectively? I'm going to say it. They're going to be like. What was the Fight Club project? What Mayhem? They're going to be the Project Mayhem butlers.
Oh, that's good.
You know, when they dressed up and then they tied the elastic band around his balls. We had a weird America Europe thing, didn't we, with the elastic bands?
Oh yeah, we needed to get something for a shoot, and Danny said like, can you get some like elastics or something, or call them rubbers, and they're just rubber bands. I forget.
Rubber bands. And what did you say? You were like, all they had was elastic bands.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's what we called them. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like, about the whole rubber thing where we call those erasers.
That's it.
Oh, rubbers is what you call erasers as opposed to condoms?
Oh no, erasers we call rubbers.
Yeah, which is
So
what people
eraser-
call condoms sometimes.
Over here, exactly. But we don't call them rubbers. Does not mean condoms. I don't know what we call condoms.
Okay.
Probably just condoms.
That's a great
Or when I was
scene, in a movie where someone's like, "Can you go get some rubbers?" and he comes back with a bunch
Yes.
of erasers.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no,
there
I'm
we
saying
go.
that would be a good scene in a
Oh,
movie. I don't
would.
think it
Okay.
exists.
That'd be a good one.
Kids, don't bring
Rubbers.
rubbers to school. No,
Yeah.
we need
No,
Yeah.
we just called them rubber Johnnies when I was a kid.
That sounds way worse.
Rubber Johnnies.
Rubber
Sounds
Johnnies.
way
Worse. That's isn't that also the Chris Cunningham Aphex Twin thing? Isn't Rubber Johnny the name of the alien thing?
You can,
Oh, is it? And Come to Daddy, it's called. Oh no, you're right, Rubber
it's
Johnny.
it's
Yeah.
Rubber Johnny. It's they did like
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Okay, I've told you the story, Danny, but I've never told it on the podcast. When I was a kid, I downloaded on like Morpheus or Kazaa or like one of the P2P services that music video, but it was
The Rubber Johnny one?
the Rubber Johnny one, where it's like an alien in a wheelchair and he's bouncing all over the room.
Fucked up.
But it was only the beginning of it. It wasn't the whole music video, and it was uploaded as like leaked Roswell alien footage.
Oh my god,
And
that's great.
so I saw it as like a kid. I was like 12 or something. And one night I downloaded it at like 1 a.m. and I was traumatized because I was like,
That's
it was like the
awful.
Wild West internet. So I was like, I wasn't supposed to see this.
Yeah, this like off. Yeah, it's like, especially if you didn't see the rest of the video, because it does get a bit like dancey and
Yeah.
eclectic. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like watching. It's like seeing 5 seconds of window liquor without any of the rest of the.
Exactly.
Chris Cunningham has a lot to fucking answer for. My worst Kazaa moment or LimeWire or whatever the fuck we were downloading back. We used to jump like lily pads to the next one whenever it got cancelled. Was I downloaded like some type of porn? Like I was like 12 or 13. I was downloading like Britney Spears, something like it was just like ridiculous. And it was just some guy getting decapitated in a war zone in Eastern Europe.
No,
fucking
dude.
Awful.
Oh, my
I still
God.
remember it. I watched it one time. I went, oh, this will be fun. Probably have my like trousers around my ankles. And then this thing turns on and it's just, I'm like, oh, this is weird. And then it just like happens. And I'm like, and then the video, Windows Media Player closes. And I'm like, fucking delete.
And that's why I've never had sex.
And that's why I've never been able to orgasm. Because
Exactly, because I think about the
get
Saddam
so
beheading
close.
video.
I got so close.
I
Think about that tree stump.
Oh, fuck. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we still did episode titles, the episode title would have to be like, something about that. I don't know what it would be.
It'll have to be the name of the file that I downloaded.
Yeah. It would be like Britney Spears,
orgy something.
real boobs,
Yeah.
.mp4.
real boobs, not real player.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Well, there you go. That's probably a good time to wrap this one up right at the end of my career. Thank you to Jesse for producing the podcast. Thanks to you for listening. Sorry about last week. We'll have the Fallout New Vegas one coming down the pipe very soon after this one. And thank you so much. We're working our asses off over here, and we hope you like the Burger King doc, and there's plenty more coming. Until the next time, we'll see ya. Bye.